And the time has come to finally fit this rebuilt race engine into the RX8. I'd just like to apologise in advance for how long this video is taking to come out, but as you're about to see, I have a multitude of issues that need dealing with, and it does take time. Engine's in place, got the bell housing bolts in, so the next step is to fit up the engine mounts, and that is always fun. Okay, engine's all in, coolant lines are on, oil lines are on, all the wiring room is done, that is it. I can effectively start the key and turn it over once I've got fluid in there. But before I do that, I'm just going to hop underneath because I want to redo the section of mid-pipe on the exhaust. So when you buy a mid-pipe or a decap pipe for an RX8, this is what you get. You get a 3-inch manifold that runs from the engine into a 3-inch join, and then for whatever reason, they decided to reduce it to a 2.5. Runs to a 2.5 into a resonator, and then onto the remainder of the box. Everything I've created from here on to the back box is 3-inch. So we've got 3-inch manifold, starting with a 3-inch mid-pipe. All the rear section's 3-inch, but this middle section, you know, this couple of foot worth, is only 2.5. So all I'm going to do is copy this pipe work with 3-inch, remove this resonator. I got a 3-inch V-band that I'm going to weld onto here and onto my existing exhaust. So then we'll have a full 3-inch custom system. That's a mid-pipe all finished up. I'm going to get this fitted to the car now. Then we're going to put some fluids in it and turn it over to prime the engine. I'm going to pop the wheels back on it and we'll roll it outside, turn the key and hopefully get it brought in. Okay, we've turned the engine over for a minute or so that's primed it up. Now we're going to pop the fuel relay and the fuel pump fuse back where they came from. And now when we turn the key, it should start. Just need to give it a minute to settle down. Unfortunately, I turned them off a little early. It seems we've got a fuel leak. Looks like it's coming down from behind the manifold. I know there's a return down there, right down the back there. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to pull this plenum off and just check that I fitted that fuel line correctly, or if the clip's broken on it, and then we'll try again. Take two. Let's see if we can actually get this thing started and run up the temperature for a couple of minutes, shall we? Okay, new problem. It won't run on idle, so I got to assume that's the primary injector still, because the two primaries control idle and low RPM, and then the four secondaries across the intake manifolds control anything above that. So once again, I need to strip all the plenum off, and I'm going to have a look at the primaries, see if I've missed something. Nightmare. So I put the code reader on it. It's giving me a code for the oil metering pump, the circuit on it. Do I think that's causing the idle issue? No. It definitely would put it into limp mode though. So it's somewhere to start anyway. So I'm gonna pull that oil metering pump off and fit the oil metering pump off the old engine, because again, I know that one's good. Okay, there's the oil metering pump. On my car, relatively easy to remove. Normally you'd have the ECU and everything here, the battery, the airbox, all this crap in the middle. I don't have any of that. So I managed to get to these 4 feed pipes from up here. The one bolt that holds it to the engine, and then get underneath, and on the back end there's 2 more bolts, which are all removed. Taking the electric clips off, so now this should just pull away. Okay, that's the oil metering pump swapped out. I also swapped out the sensor on the end, and went as far as to actually swap out the plugs and extend them on the loom. So everything now has come off the old engine, so I know it runs fine. So that should be the oil metering problem solved. I've also gone and bought all new injectors, primary and secondaries, just to hopefully fix that problem. So I'm not guessing which ones work and which ones don't. So we're gonna go ahead and swap all them out now. It's gonna run or what? Didn't get much better from here. I ended up swapping out this butterfly valve, just because where I ported it there was some gaps, as you can see. So I just popped the older one back in and tried that, still didn't work. I then went on to swapping out pretty much every sensor I could get my hands on. E-shaft position sensor, knock sensor. I even changed out the coils and plugs.
but nothing seemed to be working. It would run fine over about 3,500–4,000 RPM, but below that, there was almost no throttle response. It was stumbling, misfiring, and just point blank refusing to idle. But after speaking with the engine builder and coming up with a few ideas, this is where we got to.
So the problem was two things. First off, this butterfly valve. Apparently, once they've been ported quite aggressively, they do like a little more air on idle. So my builder told me to bend open the butterfly valve like this, and it just helps them get the air they need and makes them idle better. I also had a small vacuum leak down on the SSV, which I sorted, and both of them fixed the problem. Long story short, it's currently Thursday night. We got the car started yesterday, Wednesday night. I had Landau booked for Saturday. I wasn't going to go because the car wasn't running. We got it running last thing. So now it's just a few items on the agenda I need to get done before we can race it in just like 48 hours time. I need to swap out my door and wing because I damaged them trying to get them on the trailer at Donington. I also decided finally to fit my 5.8:1 rear differential. So I've already got that out. It's over here. I'm just fitting the 5.8 now. Once we've done those little things, I've got a few other measly jobs to do, and then that's it. We're off to the races. Swapping out the differential on one of these cars is not a particularly difficult task. It is, however, a little time consuming. You need to remove the torque tube, there's 4 bolts in the diff and 4 bolts in the gearbox. Remove most of the suspension arms from the hubs so you can pull the drive shafts out of the diff. And there's 2 mounts holding the diff to the car. You can drop them after you've removed the 4 bolts from the prop shaft. And the whole thing falls out, and you can just refit the new one and then reverse the process. That's it, diff's good to go. Got the new anti-roll bar drop links on there. Just finished fitting up all our exhaust, so it's not going to be a million decibels. A few more things now. I'm just going to jump underneath. I need to fit the brace bars on the chassis. There's 2 of them to fit. Then we're going to swap out the engine oil and filter, get it on the ground and take it for a little spin. Go for a quick blip around my industrial estate, make sure the wheels turn and everything works as it should. That is a low diff. That's crazy. Perfect. After weeks of issues, it seems that everything's coming together, which is awesome. Car's running and driving fine, everything's fitted. It needs to be fitted, fresh oil and filter in there, like, it's good to go. So I've got plenty of time before I trailer it up in a few hours, so I'm gonna put the front end back on and fit a new wing and door, so they're not damaged anymore. So we'll just smash that out and then we're good to go. I wasn't actually going to strip this door down, but I picked it up and remembered just how heavy they are. So I'm just going to quickly take a bit of time, strip that door out, and then swap out my Perspex window into that. Well, that's it then. Pretty much good to go. Front end's all on it. I've got the door fitted. Stripped them all out. We fitted our Perspex. So yeah, everything else is good. I mean, there's still a couple of little jobs I can do, but overall, we're good to get it out and race it tomorrow. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for sticking with me on this one. I know it's probably been a longer one, and it certainly has taken 4 or 5 weeks to come out to the last one. If you enjoyed it, do the like, comment, subscribe stuff, and tune in for the next one, because it's going to be about our day at Landau tomorrow. Well, I'm afraid Landau was a bust. Too foggy, they wouldn't let us out on track. They did, however, let me have a little zip around the paddock.